movement series is just going to be focused on completely mobility. All right, so if you haven't worked out yet, go work out. If you're feeling tight, then maybe hang out with us and move a little bit. So just a couple simple things that I want to take you guys through, right? So here's what I want you to do first. You're going to sit up nice and tall. You're going to draw those hips back so that you're seated right on your sits bones, right? That's the tailbone. That's the thing that hurts for a while when you've been sitting on like a hard bench or like riding a bike or something like that. And from here, all I want you to do is you're gonna fold forward just a little bit from the low back, right? I'm not just dropping my head, I'm folding forward from the low back. And then I'm gonna grab my shins, I'm gonna grab my feet, my ankles, my whatever you need to grab. For your knees, if that's all you got, that's all you got. And you're just gonna decompress that low back. And one thing you can do is roll out to the side, nice and gently, one side to the other. Then once you have that fold, you can start bringing the head down just a tad. I wouldn't suggest going side to side while you're exploring a deeper range, but instead just hang out in this folded position, right? You might be able to feel this all the way down in your feet. This is everything posterior. We're lengthening out the backs of everything. The back of your back, the back of your hips, the back of your hamstrings, the back of your calves, and the bottoms of your feet. Good. Now I want you to stack the shoulders right back up on top of the hips. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay back, and I want you to roll over and spin around. Okay, we're going to keep this as passive as possible. We're going to go into an upward facing dog. And what I want you to do for that is you're going to place your palms flat on the ground, squeezing your glutes. You're going to take a big inhale as you push the ground away, keeping the glutes down. I should have worn black shorts, but that's what I've got the most of, so there you go. Keeping the glutes down, and we're going to take 5 big belly breaths. Two more. I might be off count, but you know, it happens. One more. Excellent. Bring the hips back over the knees, and from here, we're going to just gently check in with the spine. I want you to rock right, rock left, rock right, rock left. And if you could see me from up above, beneath me, I'm pinching one side together in order to extend the other. And when I say side, I mean from shoulder to hip, shoulder to hip. And that's what I want you to do with your spine when you're in this tabletop position. So we're shoulder, hip, nice and wide, create space on that right side. Shoulder, hip, nice and long, I should say, that wide, create space on the left side. Now, here comes the first hip flexor stretch of the day. We're going to bring it up onto our knees. My feet are tucked. You can have them shooting out straight if you like. It's a little easier on the kneecaps here. We're going to take our left leg. I want you to come up into a lunge position. You're going to tuck your tailbone. And you might not see much happening here, but if you activate correctly, then you're going to be feeling a lot, right? So it's like, oh, hey, he's just like hanging out waiting for coach's speech. But actually what we're doing is we're tucking the tailbone and I'm pushing the hip flexor forward. I am not leaning back. I'm not full on Elvis, not just yet. What I want you to do is tuck tailbone and think about, you can feel that ropey tissue just pulling up as you tuck from the back. And we're going to shift right, shift left. I move my foot up just a little bit because this will give me a nice, you can see where my base is a bit wider now. I'm shifting over right, shift left 5 more times, shift right, shift left, shift right, unlocking all of this tissue. 2 more, 1 more time. And amazing. Now before we switch to the other side, what I want you to do is you're going to take that right hand and you're going to thread it underneath your left leg, excuse me, and then you're going to come right back up. You can stop right here, or you can continue up and around. Pull that rib cage down, push this left knee back, and we're going to come down underneath, nice and easy. I'm counterbalancing with my hips, and right back up. Abs down and away, pulling back with the shoulder, stretching the adductor of that left leg. Bring it right back down. Now when we're going two more. When we're going through these movements, what I want you to think about is, I want you to have don't turn everything off. I want you to activate the system itself, right? So if I'm here, I'm not just pushing my leg out. I'm pushing my leg out, but I'm actively pulling in just slightly so that I get that feedback from the pull evenly on both sides of the muscle. If that makes sense. Because muscles only pull, they don't push, right? So you have to pull from one side of the bone and the other in order to get a balanced load. I think it's the last one, 2, 1, and bring it right back down. Okay, so gently, when you're transitioning, I would definitely untuck your toes because the kneecap, the patella kind of slides out of the way when you do that. So let's switch sides. I'm going to change my angle just a little bit so you can hopefully see me a little better there. Cool. And now we're going to tuck tailbone. Remember, not much, doesn't look like much is happening here, but I promise a lot is happening, okay? So we're tucking the tailbone, and I want you to push that hip flex on the hips forward just a tad in order to turn the stretch on in that hip flexor. From there, we're just going to gently explore out kind of a small semicircular pattern with our hips. Keep the abs on. This is not a vacation for your trunk. This is an opportunity for your trunk to stabilize in a very low oriented position towards the ground. Ow, 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 ow. Nice. Get some lovely feedback from my knee coming in, which doesn't feel great, but that's a personal injury of mine. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to thread it through underneath. Where you got to put this right hand, you can. Probably get deeper if you push, put the right hand in front of the right foot. And then we're going to sit it back up, push out, bring it open, 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 and then close it back again. Right hand down, reaching with the left hand, right through, push the knee out, open, 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 and then right back down, right hand down, reaching underneath that right leg with our left. Open, open. We got two more. And then right back down. And one more time. And right back down. Perfect. Okay, both hands are going to come down now. Bring the knees to the ground. Now, not too good. Okay, so we're going to go to our first downward facing dog of the day. I want you to plank it. Then I need you to drive the hips back. There you go. Drive the hips up and back, heels down to the ground, and you can just kind of start walking your dog side to side because it feels pretty flippin' good to load one side over the other here. And I'm gonna turn this music down just a tad. A little loud. There we go. So. Heels down, hips up, shoulder blades back. Peel those shoulder blades away from your ears. Biceps forward, elbows back, and breathe for 10, 9, 8, try to get deeper into the stretch, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to kick my right leg up 5 times. Keeping it straight. 1. I'm stretching the left hamstring as I do that. 2. Keep my arms as straight as possible. 3. On the 5th, 4. Swing. I'm going to kick my leg up and through and land it right here. Kick up and through and land. And now I've got a nice runner's lunge, okay? So I can drop this knee in the back and you just get comfy. I'm going to turn actually the other way so you can see what my hips are doing. Cool. Okay, so I've got this super long runner's lunge. From this position, go ahead and keep your hands down. From this position, what you're going to do is drop your hips down and you're going to be stretching the hip flexor deeper now on the left side and the deep insertion of the hamstring back here. So from this point, all I want you to do is you're just going to rock left, rock left, right, check in with your hips, okay? Don't rush this. Find what speaks to you, because your body's a little bit, you know, it's different than mine, right? I don't know what your body is doing, what you do in your free time to make your body tight, but my bet is that you do a lot of sitting. So that's why we're doing this very gentle, very easy runner's lunge, and to open up the hip flexors and the hamstrings so that you can have a little more freedom in your hips. Okie dokie? Okie dokie. All right, so from there, we're gonna shift back. I've got flexion here, I've got extension in the back. I'm gonna switch that operation, and I'm gonna come back to a Samson lunge. So I've shifted my hips back to my, over my left foot, and now I've got a straightened right leg. And this is one of my I have a love-hate relationship with this movement because it is very effective on targeting just the hamstrings. So you can see what my hips are doing. Takes a bit of balance there. So you can see what my hips are doing. They're squared up. If you want a little more balance, you can move the foot out to the side. But I've got a flexed leg here on the left and an extended leg here on the right, and I'm just gently pushing my nose out towards my toes and looking for length. I feel this in the bottom of my foot, right? That's where it stops radiating for me. And I'm gonna pull it back here. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring my hands on the inside of my right foot, and I'm gonna shift forward back into that runner's lunge. I'm gonna shift back to my Samson lunge. I'm gonna shift forward to my runner's lunge. Samson, 5 more runners. Samson, 4 more runners. Samson, 3 more runners. Samson, 2 more runners. Samson, runners. Last one, Samson, make it hurt, and runners. Beautiful. From here, I'm gonna tuck my toe, raise my knee in the back, come back to a plank, downward facing dog. Now your down dog should be a little more cooperative this time than the first time through. I don't think I mentioned breathing once. Breathing is so important. You're doing well everything, but breathing when you're practicing mobility, when you're practicing any other kind of sport or focus, breathing takes the back seat a lot, many times, and the breath is so important to focus on when you're trying to focus. It is kind of the government of your focus. So, please breathe into the nose, out of the mouth. Excuse me, that's all I want you to remember. Left leg kicks up 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one, we're going to step up and through by our left foot, and 5. Big step through, and then shift back into that runner's lunge, and now we are in the same, little crack there, the same position as last time. I'm going to shift over so you can see what my hips are doing. Same position as last time, except now we've switched the hip flexors, right? My hip flexor on my right side is extended out into the posterior. My hamstring on the left side is flexed up, and not flexed up, excuse me. We're stretching the hamstring on the left side. All right, and so my hips are going down. I'm just kind of shifting right to left. This is the first time I've been in this position this morning, so things are like, hey, let's take it slow. I'll just jump in and start doing backflips and what have you. Yeah, I got some feedback from a run I did yesterday. Just any discomfort, how we define pain is much different between all of us, but any kind of discomfort that you feel is useful information. Like comfort feels good, right? You know, everything feels great. You're not getting any specific information. Pain or discomfort is so valuable because A, it lets you know you're alive, and B, it tells you it is part of a kind of a mystery as to what may be ailing you or what bigger problem you might have, and it gives you mysteries to solve. That's what's great about the feedback that you get from that slight discomfort of stretching. Okay, so we're going to shift back to that Samson lunge, please. So my left leg is extended, my right leg is tucked. You can have your spine flex, that's fine for now. And we're gonna shift right back forward to our Samson lunge. Shift it back, shift it forward, shift it back. Oh, shift it forward, shift it back, shift it forward. 2 more times, please. Shift it back. Oh, shift it forward 1 more time. Shift it back. And shift it forward. Okie dokie. So I'm going to lift through the hips and the heart. I'm going to put that leg right back where I found it. And now I've got another downward facing dog because they're so good for us. So one thing to keep in mind when you're doing your dog, there's a lot going on. I don't want to give you too many cues at once. I'm gripping in with my raptor claws. If you don't know what that is, look up the video on the channel and there's a full explanation. Wrap those elbows around behind, biceps point forward, and then I'm pushing my nose to my toes, my chest to my toes, hips up, heels back, heels down, excuse me. And you don't, when you're doing a downward dog, you don't want to fold yourself up like completely in half, like a forward fold, right? That's not the point of a down dog. You want about 90 degrees, right? Probably butchering this for all my yoga friends out there, but sorry guys, I'm not classically trained. I just move. Anatomy, physiology, movement. That's my specialty. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our right leg and we're gonna draw it up underneath us into a pigeon pose, right? We haven't gotten it. Today is all low chain. If you didn't catch that in the notes, this is low chain mobility. So here's what I'm gonna do with my pigeon pose. I don't want you to just sit up here, right? I don't want you to sit up high. I definitely don't want you to sit here and call it a pigeon pose because that's like going to the gym and just texting on your phone. It's just not effective. I like to picture, I'm a cowboy, right? I'm just always a cowboy in my head. But cowboys, or cowgirls, whatever people, you've got your pistols on your side. You got 2 pistols here, one here, one here. And if your pistols are pointed out to the side, you ain't doing too much for your hips. But if you can point your pistol straight down and then push back, don't do this when you're. This is like the end of a ballet. This isn't down. This isn't pigeon posing. I want you to push those hips back. I'm pistols down, right hip back, and I'm pulling my left hip. I'm pulling back with my left foot back here. Right? So I want everything on stretch, and I'm feeling these hips, knees, this hock right here is just, yes, feeling great. And as you get better at this foot here will be able to come out farther and farther because of this bone, this leg's ability to externally rotate. Its ability to internally rotate. Don't worry about that. Just know that more range is usually better. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna push through the hips and heart. Whoa, what's up? Feeling that. Downward facing dog, reset the tissues. Down dog is just a great reset position. And you'll see me loading my left side, my right side. What I'm doing is I'm just looking for more range from different parts of the muscles. That is all I'm up to. All right, let's take our left leg up and underneath. Push those hips back, pistols down. My left leg doesn't have quite as much lean tissue on it, so I can push way back, right? There's a big difference between my left and my right side. It's one of those imbalances of always chasing. My leg looks really weird in this camera too. It's just like, so pulling back with your left hip, pulling back with your right leg while you're pushing your right hip down. That's going to give you the torque that is going to be productive in this pigeon pose, right? So you're pushing back actively with your upper body for 5, 4, 3, or 2, or 1, and let's lift up through the hips and the heart, downward facing dog. One more time. Now what I want you to do is you're going to come down gently into a tabletop position. You're going to Sit off to the side. Butterfly those feet. We're almost done here. We're going to keep this pretty quick today. Butterfly those feet. And if you can't reach, that's fine. If this is all you got, that's fine. We're just going to flap, flap, flap. But if you can, bring the feet in towards the hips and kind of weave the fingers in between, and then place them underneath the feet. And now I'm passive. I'm not holding. I'm using my body weight and the tension in my legs to hold this guy down. So I'm just going to sit nice and tall, and I'm going to kind of walk my way back and forth in order to keep those sits bones that we talked about earlier right beneath me, right? So we're ending in the same spot that we began in. So once you're in that position, arms are straight. I want you to pull your shoulders back, right? And don't round forward. This position in the back, this is what we're trying to fight at all times of the day, except when you're asleep, probably lying down. So what I want you to do is you're going to push the chest through, right? Keep it nice, straight back. Work the muscles of the back. Work the muscles of the trunk. Pull it right. Pull your shoulders back. Excuse me. And as you're doing that, you're gonna flap those wings, those butterfly wings. Flap for 10, for 9, 8, 7. This looks ridiculous. 5, 4, whatever. Dare to be stupid, right? That's what my old theater teachers used to tell me. I have no problem doing that. 3, 2, 1, and release the hands. Release, lean back, and just gently stretch those legs out. And you're just gonna kind of just give your knees a little bit of love, give your feet a little bit of love. Twist them side to side, flex, extend. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments or DM me. I'm happy to help. It's what I do for a living. You guys have an amazing day. I'll see you next time here in the Body Garage. Later.